If you change your past, then you can change your future, right? Today, I just want us to focus on changing our present mindsets, our present belief systems, frequencies, all of those things. Hey guys, welcome back to You Are the Ocean, a podcast dedicated to navigating life's currents, moving in divine flow, and connecting to your inner wisdom. I'm your host, Tara, and my earrings are a little flashy today, so I hope that's not distracting or bothersome to anybody. If you are listening, definitely come and check out the YouTube channel that I'll have linked in the show notes, just because in relation to this vision that I had, I'm going to be showing a picture that I drew out of my sketchbook. It's just a sketch though. But if you're interested in a visual representation of the vision that I'm going to describe later on, you should definitely check it out. Guys, I'm so excited to talk about this message that I channeled. But first, I want to thank all of the new subscribers. Hi, I'm very new, maybe a little awkward, but thank you so much for joining me and being part of this journey and letting me be a part of your journey as well. I'm super excited to grow together into just the highest versions of ourselves, right? Because that's what we're all here for. Okay, but now to get on to topic. So, can you change your past? Can you go back in time and change the circumstances of some of the things that happened to you? Not exactly. But you can change the energies surrounding those circumstances. And when you change the energy around those, then you can change the energetic and karmic ties that may still hold you in certain mindsets or in certain energies that no longer serve you, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. How did I get here, you may wonder? Well, like I said, I had a vision while I was journaling one day. Shout out to journaling, guys. I know I say this a lot, but I don't know. As somebody who used to be a journal doubter turned believer, I honestly always try and urge people to give it another try, even if you failed with it in the past. And if you're open to this, I have a whole podcast episode just about journaling. It's audio only because it was before I started this YouTube channel, but I'll link it in the description if you're interested. And yeah, so here's the vision. I saw like a small version of myself. Let's say maybe she was like 5 years old, and she was all curled up and crying to herself, or maybe not, just like really sad by herself. And then another version of me, just a few years older, kind of came out and was like out of like, I guess, sort of like a portal ish thing. And she held out her hand to the younger version and said, "Come on, there's something really good coming." And so my 5-year-old sad version took her hand and they walked through the portal together. And there was a similar scene, except this time both versions of myself were a little bit older. So the one that was crying and upset was older than the last version. We'll say maybe around like 10 or so. And then there was a like 13-year-old version of me that was like, "Something good is coming. Come on, just hold on a little bit longer." And they went through the portal again and it happened again. And like, again, the versions of myself were a little bit older, but each time there was another future version of myself that was encouraging this dejected and hurt version and telling them to hold on, that there are good things that are going to come if she just held on a little bit longer, even if it was hard. I actually drew a little doodle of it too. If you like visuals, it's in here. It's just a doodle though, so I'll show it to you. Let me see. Is it showing up? Can you see? There is the sad version of me and then the a little bit older version of me. So I'm gonna get my handy dandy notes out so I don't forget to say anything. Right. The first thing that came to mind when I was seeing this vision was that you are your own guardian angel. What do I mean by that? Well, imagine like your higher self is over here and the self that was born is here, right? Um, I started to believe as I saw this vision that as you are growing in not only in age, but in consciousness and higher knowledge, you are slowly getting a little bit closer to this highest version of yourself. And to me, the highest version of ourselves is the version that is the most tapped into the divine, the most tapped into the universe, that has knowledge that would not be known to us because it is tapped into that universal source energy, right? So in a way, I feel like we're each our highest self in the present, at least the higher self in comparison to our younger selves, right? Because do you not know more now than you knew in your past? Do you not have a deeper understanding of your past circumstances, or a more bird's eye view, a more, I guess, deep understanding of things that happen to you or around you now than you did before? So wouldn't you say, in a way, you are, your current self is your highest self in comparison to the past versions of you? Is this making sense? I hope so, because that's what came up for me. In this way, I think that we can heal ourselves from the past if we imagine that we are a guardian angel to our past selves now, that we can send them love and support right now in this moment, that they will receive it, that they will use that to help calm their fears and their pain, to help them have courage to move forward and keep continuing, and to have more faith in themselves and their abilities. If we can be that voice for our younger self, if we can instill more of those beautiful qualities into ourselves, then wouldn't they be able to grow through and help solidify that belief within ourselves? I hope this is making sense. Because to me, I felt like, or I felt like in that moment, and I feel like now, that our past and our present exist simultaneously. And this is like a philosophical thing about time. See, this vision, hold on, we'll get in that next. I think it's called block theory or something like that, that the past and the present, and sometimes considered the future, all exists simultaneously, that it's all happening right now, that the present of that moment is the present of this moment, right? I kind of think that the future is a little bit hazier for me. I think that the past and the present both are existing continuously, but I think that there can still be changes into the future. We're not going to get too deep into that because that's a lot. But if we consider that the past and the present are both current and existing right now, then you can understand how we possibly can talk to that younger version, change their reality, and thus change our own reality in this present moment. Do you believe in that? I do, but I saw this vision, and that's why I believe that it's true, and that's why I'm sharing it with you, because I want to give you a chance to try it yourself. So, personally, from this vision, I feel like, in a way, now that we are this higher version of ourselves, that we have a responsibility to our past selves to send them that love and that encouragement from somebody who can really see them and really understand them and where they're coming from, especially if you grew up or went through a lot of periods in your life where you didn't feel understood, where you didn't feel seen, and you felt very alone. We're never really alone, right? We always have our guides, our ancestors, our angels that are here with us. It's just hard to feel them, especially when you don't know that they're there yet, right? And in that way, like I said, I think we are also our own guardians. So we have a responsibility to try and uplift those versions of ourselves. And like, for those of you who are like still hanging out here, this isn't a super crazy idea if you think about it. One, I want to get into those of you who are like super into, what is it, like psychology or whatever, or like healing, past circumstances, healing your inner child. You may have come across kind of a similar idea of reimagining childhood circumstances that were maybe not the best, maybe a little adverse, and then reimagining them and giving yourself the thing that you believe that you needed the most in that moment. And in that way, it helps to heal that past wound, right? So that was another thing that I thought about when I saw that vision. I was like, this is kind of like what I read about, where if you go and kind of relive those past experiences and then kind of come in as your older version of yourself, and then hold their hand, give them a hug, tell them the words that you think that they needed to hear. So I was like, this is kind of like that. The second thing that I noticed was when I started kind of looking into like time and all of that stuff and learned about the block theory thing, that I was like, oh wow, yeah, somebody already says something like this, that like they all exist, time exists all together in the same breath, in the same current moment. But then as I was researching that, a funny thing happened. One of the ladies whose videos I was watching, she had mentioned that some people think that they can change their past just through their thoughts. She was skeptical, but I was like, wait a second, that's what my vision was like. So I started Googling that. I'm like, changing your past, like with your thoughts. And I came across, what is that guy's name? I have it written here. Neville Goddard's revision technique, right? If you are interested in that, you can look up his revision technique, Neville Goddard's revision technique, which is essentially kind of a similar thing. He believed that you could change your past and then change your future, right? That you can go revisit the past and change it based on your imagination, right? So I was like, oh, that's so weird. People have already thought of this before, right? But then I was like, I've never heard of it though. So it made me think of universal consciousness, right? That we are all connected in a way to a universal consciousness that is essentially the same thing that the universe is made up of this giant, amazing, divine, conscious energy that connects us all. So in that way, I was like, so this must be true. At least that's how I thought it. Because it came kind of out of like nowhere for me. Like I didn't know anything about Neville Goddard's revision technique. And I did read a little bit about healing your past self. But the thing that's different about this vision was there's a more spiritual element, which is the fact that we can essentially be a guardian spirit to our past selves, that we can travel our energy, because that's what it is. You're putting energy out and you're asking that energy to travel to those versions of yourselves. And I just got chills. So I think that we can do this. I definitely highly suggest that you try this out. I've been doing it in meditation. Not gonna lie to you, it's pretty emotional. It's not like I did cry like each time, but that is the healing. I feel like the tears are the release, like kind of like a dam breaking, and just letting it all out and be released. Because I think, especially with difficult memories that we have that are kind of those ones that kind of pop up and float up to the surface and out of nowhere sometimes, and you're just like, gosh, why am I thinking about that right now? I think that is in a way, our younger versions from that time asking us for help, asking us to see them, to hear them, to be there for them, and to acknowledge what had happened then. And if we're brushing it off and ignoring it, then we are ignoring their pain. If we are ignoring their pain, we're ignoring our pain. And we can't move forward without tying up the loose ends of our past. So if you find yourself feeling like a little bit stuck, consider that maybe there are some things, some past versions of yourself that need to be heard right now, that need you to be there for them right now. And yeah, let's see what kind of healing can come out of it. Okay, so that's the message. That was the message that I wanted to share. I hope it wasn't too jumbled. But again, thank you guys so much if you listened to the end. Thank you to new subscribers. If you're new, subscribe. We talk about all kinds of things that have to do with the spiritual journey, leveling up our consciousness, our energy, just being better human beings for ourselves and the rest of the world. Because I think that as we grow our light and we shine it naturally upon others just by stepping into our light, that they see that they'll have a chance to do that too. That there's another way of existing in this world that is more loving and more positive. And I feel like we can create a kind of domino effect in that way with the people around us. And hopefully, if enough dominoes topple over, we can see some beautiful changes into the world, because we all deserve that, right? We deserve a more loving world, a more compassionate world. So yeah, like, subscribe, comment. Tell me if you've actually heard of any of these things, like Neville Goddard's revision technique. Tell me if you've tried it. Has it been working? How has it felt? Or if you are willing to try it in the future. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.